Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are joining us from. And a very warm welcome to this ACCA welcome session. My name is Martin Mwebia, and I work at ACCA in the student support team as education support manager. And it's a pleasure to have everyone of you join us on this session today. So I am also joined by my colleague, Krati Bajpayee, who is the education manager in ACCA India. And together we will be delivering this session, which is going to run through a bit of some useful information that we want to share with you today. And then I'll come back to help with responding to the questions you will have shared in the course of this session. It's a global community. I am joining you from Nairobi in Kenya. Kat is joining us from India. We've got colleagues supporting us in the back end from the UK and different parts of the world. So it would be great if you can also tell us where you're joining us from. And I'm going to try to give you a few shout outs to those who I see already joined. So I see Monica from Romania. Thank you so much and welcome. I see Salma from the UK. I see Pankaj from India. I see, let me see, lots of those coming in now. Mary from Manchester, UK, welcome. I see Esther from London, welcome. I see someone from Pakistan. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name very well. So lots of us from different parts of the world. So truly a global community that ACCA indeed is. Now, if you're new to ACCA, if you've recently joined, this is the right session for you, because in this session, we are going to be sharing quite some useful information about, the qualification and some useful resources that are going to guide you in this journey, as well as share some next steps for you. So we understand it can be a bit overwhelming trying to figure the next steps in this journey. But don't worry, because we will take care of that in this session. Now, before I hand over to Krati in a minute, I want to share a few housekeeping items. Now, there is an attendee chat that you will see on your screen. So please feel free to engage with us through that chat. If there are any comments, any responses that you want to share, do note that that's a public forum, so please don't share any private information like phone numbers and email addresses. Now, in case you encounter any challenges, if you can't see the videos or hear the audio, please feel free to refresh your browser, because that usually helps. I mentioned that we'll have a live Q&A session towards the end. So there's a Q&A button also on your screen. So if you have any questions you'd like us to respond to, please put them in through that button, and we will respond to as many questions as we possibly can in the time that we have. So we've got everyone on board. I've shared with you a highlight of the agenda. So at this point, I'm going to hand over now to Krati to proceed with the next step of the session. Krati, over to you.
Thanks, Martin. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon from India. Good morning, if it's morning for you. So like Martin has already briefed us about the session, let's move ahead with it. So before we get started on today's webinar, I'm sure you're all aware that we have recently announced our plans for redesigning the ACCA qualification. So many of you must be already aware of it. And if you're not aware, then also it's all right. We know that you will have lots of questions about the structure of the future exams and what it means for your own ACCA journey. We won't, however, be able to answer those questions in today's webinar, but you'll find all the information you need on our future qualification hub site, including the qualification explainer video, transition tools, milestones, FAQs. You'll find everything out there. So I request you to take some time after today's webinar to take a look at the hub site and all of these useful resources there. In the meantime, our advice at ACCA to all of our students is that you should not change any of your existing plans for progressing your journey through the current qualification onto membership. First exams in the redesigned qualification won't be introduced until 2027. And regardless of where you are on your qualification journey at that time, you'll benefit from the changes we're making. So we strongly encourage all our students to actively continue your studies and progress your journey to membership to ensure that you don't miss out on the benefits of becoming an ACCA member. We're, of course, here to support you throughout that journey. And with that in mind, let's move on with today's session. Okay, so why are we here today and what's on our agenda? We're here to share a little about ACCA and a qualification journey, how to study effectively, and help you plan the first steps of your ACCA journey with confidence. We'll highlight some of the key ACCA resources and hope to motivate you to book your first exam and study effectively. We have a wealth of resources designed to develop and execute successful exam strategy and help you make good progress on your path towards ACCA membership. We've received many questions from you about the books to use to study ACCA, how to start, how to prepare for ACCA exams, and there are mock exams, are there mock exams, and so on. So these questions have come to us from all around the world. Don't worry, we'll try to answer, cover all those things here. Before we move on to anything else, a bit about us. So ACCA is undoubtedly the most globally recognized accountancy qualification, finance qualification. It was founded in 1904. We've long championed inclusion, and today proud to say that we have more than 250,000 ACCA members around the world. And of course, looking at the kind of responses we've received from you from around the globe, it of course establishes the fact. And over 500,000 of students across 180 countries. So congratulations on taking the first step to joining our growing number of students who are working towards exciting career and driving positive change. You've joined an international community that will support you every step of the way. Um, our forward-looking qualification, continuous learning and insights are respected and valued by employers in every sector all over the world. And your ACCA designation will be recognized wherever you go. So, it is a globally recognized qualification. And for those of you who asked about employment opportunities within your country and internationally with your ACCA qualifications, you can go ahead over to our ACCA Careers job site, which currently has more than 27,000 job vacancies. So you can just go and, have a look at it. Okay. ACCA members have a reputation as strategic thinkers and highly sought after finance professionals. The ACCA qualification helps shape such well-rounded professionals. It's a journey that combines the exams, ethics, and experience. It's just not about studies, it's an overall combination of things. So, yeah, moving ahead, like I just spoke about exams, ethics, and experience. So, these are the three paths to becoming an ACCA member. Students start at different levels depending upon their existing qualifications with the ultimate objective of becoming an ACCA member. Just a quick word on experience since we received questions about it. Experience can be gained prior to registering with ACCA, while you're studying for the exams, or after you've completed the exams. You can be working anywhere in any sector. Your experience will need to be signed off by a practical experience supervisor at the employer where you gain the experience. And for more information, you can look at a practical experience section on the website. So if you are already working or you've worked or you plan to work, there's a whole section in the website explaining it, so you can just go and have a look at it. Okay, so ACC qualification. We offer the FIA, or if I call it Foundations in Accountancy program, ideal for those new to finance or already working in finance but have no formal qualifications. Or you might want to gain a better understanding of how finance works in order to progress in your career. FIA is the entry point for those of you who perhaps want to pursue higher qualifications in finance or simply boost your employability and mobility by learning the universal language of business. What is ACCA core qualification? So there are 3 levels to the ACCA qualification exams, which makes a total of 13 exams. The first one is the applied knowledge exams. They help develop essential understanding and technique in accounting. There are 3 exams at this stage. The second one is the applied skills exams built on existing knowledge and understanding. It develops a strong, broad, and practical financial skills required to future accountants in any sector or industry. There are 6 applied skills exams. The strategic professional exams prepare students for future leadership positions. The content here covers case studies, and students can specialize in areas that best suit their career ambitions. In addition to the exams, the students are also required to complete the ethics and professional exams module and gain practical work experience in order to become an ACCA member. So that's, more or less about the whole qualification on how you become an ACCA member. So we launched in May. So this is BSc Professional Accountancy course, which we launched in May 2025 with a new collaboration with the University of London that provides a route for students to gain a BSc from a world-renowned university, which is, of course, London University is a world-renowned university, as part of the journey through the qualification. Through ACCA's collaboration with the University of London, you have the opportunity to gain a BSc in professional accountancy at the same time as completing your ACCA qualification. So such a renowned university, and you pursuing your ACCA qualification can be done at the same time. This flexible program is designed specifically for ACCA students and is a fantastic way to boost your CV, stand out to employees, and gain a globally respected academic qualification, all without doubling your workload. The degree is 100% online or at selected recognized teaching centers as and when they become available. So you can go study anywhere, anytime, and get the best of both the worlds. Find out more and register your interest at accglobal.com/BSc. accglobal.com/BSc. You can find more information about it. Okay, exemptions. We partner with colleges and universities across the world and select institutions. They can receive ACCA accreditation. That is, students from specific accounting programs can claim some exemptions from ACCA exams. Exemptions give you a head start to the ACCA qualification because we recognize that you have prior learning to the content. You can check how many exemptions you might be eligible for using the ACCA exemptions calculator. We'll share the link for the exemption calculator, right? Okay. Moving ahead, you can also access the exemption calculator by taking your mobile device, and you can scan the QR code present on the screen. This will redirect you to the exemptions calculator, and you will see the web page when you clicked on the link to the exemption calculator. If you want, you can take scan the QR and reach the exemption calculator. I'll just pause here for a minute for you to take the screenshot, for you to scan the QR. Okay, moving ahead. If you have some exemptions, you might be studying for a subject that builds on the underlying knowledge from another exam. So you should include some time at the start of your studies to check and refresh your underlying knowledge using the Get Ready modules. The purpose of our Get Ready modules is to help you work out to identify gaps in your knowledge and provide recommendations to top up that knowledge so you can work smarter. So the first step, access your knowledge and build out your study plan right from there. Hope you just scanned the QR. Okay. If you don't have exemptions, that's all right. and you're starting your journey at the foundation or applied knowledge level, then you'll be seeking on demand computer based CBE. We have a range of excellent resources to help support your journey through this stage of the qualification. Head to our on demand hub on the website, which provides more information on the key resources. I'll give you a few examples here also. One is the ACCA practice test. For that, all important question practice. Another great resource is the specimen exam debrief. Once you are a bit further through your studies, we have a series of short debrief videos that cover all the questions in the specimen exam for business and technology, management accounting, and financial accounting. One more excellent resource is the ACCA X. These online interactive courses prepare students for the foundations in accountancy and applied knowledge exams. There's 7 courses in total, 4 of which are free to access. From the on-demand hub, you can also search for exam center to take your on-demand exams or take your exams through remote invigilation. Okay? Right. Effective study. Wherever and however you're studying, we understand that studying can be intimidating and it may feel overwhelming at first. So we want to share some, simple tips for getting the most out of it. As you start your studies, live by these 3 pillars: plan, learn, practice. Plan, learn, and practice. Okay. An important part exam preparation is planning and time management. So you plan and then you manage your time accordingly. Start by working out how much time you have until the exam and then allocate your time to learning and revision. The ACCA Compass Planning tool can help you build an effective study plan. I've included a QR code to redirect you to the Compass Planning tool. So you can just scan the QR and you'll be redirected to the Compass Planning tool. Okay. You need to cover the full syllabus. So how do you learn? You need to cover the full syllabus, of course. Make sure that you read and study actively. When studying, ask yourself, do I understand this? If not, reread the material and rework the examples. I've included a QR code here also to redirect you to the study hub. I will provide more information on this later in the presentation. Okay. Practice. Moving on to practice. Attempting exam standard questions and then debriefing against the model answers will help you check your understanding of topics you've studied. Do start to build in question practice very early on. I've included a QR code here too to redirect you to the practice platform. Hopefully you've scanned the QRs if you had to, and I'll move on. Okay. To maximize your chances to pass, I know if you've enrolled to ACCA, we all want to become ACCA members. So how do you maximize your chance to pass? Study with an ACCA approved learning partner. There are many ALPs across the globe, and likely in your country, or you can choose one of the approved online tuition providers. On our website, we have a global directory for ALPs. You can access it through the link we provide in the chat. Next, you can also use the ACCA Global Study Resources app. You must use the ACCA Global Study Resources on the ACCA website. We'll get to it in a few slides later. And of course, practice, practice, practice. We have a CBE practice platform that stimulates actual exam environment. We can access past specimen exams, attempt mock exams to time, and then watch the debrief videos for the answers and explanation. Practice, of course, will help you reach there. We strongly recommend that you study with an approved learning partner. Students who do so perform much better in the exams. And we continually assess our partners' course delivery. So you really can be confident in the quality of the tuition we offer. The ALPs offer a wide range of flexible face-to-face and online tuition options are available. So whatever your personal circumstances, there is an option to suit you. You've received questions on where to find learning provider, including online providers. We put a link here on ACCA tuition provider directory. So you can just go click on the link and there's a whole directory that you can, browse through. Okay. Anything that you want to access as it relates to your own ACCA journey begins with My ACCA. In your My ACCA account, you can see your progress and exam history. You can book exams. You can access the CBE practice platform. You can access the study hub, which we'll explain you soon. So there's everything you go through My ACCA account. ACCA is committed to supporting your qualification journey and offer numerous free study resources to enable exam success. Talk through the resource finder menu and share screen. Okay, so we'll be sharing the screen, the link over here for you to, take a look at the study resources. This is the web page you'll see after clicking the exam support resources link, right? You'll see a list of exams. Let's go ahead and click on one of the exams. Let's pick, say, financial management here. It'll bring you to the exam support resources relevant to financial management. The resources are organized from getting started to learning and revision. So now here you see we have a lot of learning support resources to help you with your exam preparation. I'll leave you to explore these resources in your own time. However, let me highlight the Study Hub resource here. ACCA Study Hub provides free access to study materials, including quizzes and flashcards. You heard it right, it's free. You're able to study anytime, anywhere with practice questions, study chapters, flashcards, and quizzes that allows you to track your progress. This is an example of a chapter content of the audit and assurance in the Study Hub. Test our knowledge as you progress through the syllabus and content of the exam. Bookmark, highlight, and make notes. You can use flashcards. And quizzes to test your understanding. Here are quizzes. So there's a whole lot of resources available for you to help you learn, to help you perform in your exams. You just have to keep exploring and use it. Practice and revision questions are included to help you prepare for your exam. So we mentioned earlier our CBE practice platform, which is an online free platform that reflects the live exam experience. It contains past, specimen, and practice exams, as well as mock exams. You can use it to practice answering exam standard questions and then check against the answers. It also allows you to become familiar with tools that are used in the exam environment, such as word processing and spreadsheet. You can use the practice platform throughout your studies, and the earlier, the better. Start using it earlier, from your early days itself, so you practice more and more of it. The practice platform should be a key study tool to help you build your confidence and comfort level before entering your exam. We cannot stress this enough. Completing mocks are very, very crucial to securing your pass, as this platform mimics a real life exam setting for you. So we really stress on it. Complete your mocks. Students engaging with both Study Hub and Practice Platform increase their chances of passing by 61%. So there is a difference. It makes a difference, yeah? So we insist on you using it. You have booked your exam, you have your study hub plan confirmed, and identify the tools you will incorporate into preparing for your exam. It's time to stay posted on your emails now. Once you've booked your exams, you will start to receive our weekly in-session emails that will signpost the support resources and activities that are relevant to the exam you're studying for. If you do not see these emails in your inbox, be sure to check your spam or junk folders because we do send these emails. To stay updated, we highly recommend and I encourage you to download the Student Accountant app, which is available on Apple and Android devices. So go to your app and or maybe Google App Store to download the SA app today. Why do we want you to have the app? You'll be able to obtain important updates about your exams, career advice, interviews with employers, students and members, advice from tutors, news from the accountancy world, ACCA news, and there's so much more to it. So I sincerely insist you to download the app. As a final recap, explore the learning resources we have available for you. These are all available on our ACCA website and through your My ACCA account. Plan your studies. Use the Compass Planner to plan out your next 3 to 4 months of study. And finally, and most importantly, remember to book your first exam. Bookmark our ACCA important dates webpage to note exam booking dates. I will include it in the chat. And I think I'll hand over to Martin now to answer your questions now. They're happy with
Thank you. Thank you so much, Krati, for that fantastic session. Thank you for sharing that information very clearly. So yes, we are moving into the next very exciting session where we get to answer the questions that you've been sending in. We've been trying to respond to some of them as we go. But before we do that, I just want to share a few points of information. So Krati has referred to lots of resources, some QR codes on the screen. I see some of you have not been able to scan them, so don't worry. On your screen, there is a file, a symbol that looks like a file. It's got the resources for this webinar. You'll find the PDF version of the slides that we are using. You'll find a list of the links to the resources we are referring to. So please feel free to refer to those, and you can always access them. You can download them if you'd like to keep a copy. Also to say that the recording of this session will be available for you to watch. You'll receive an email with a link to the recording once it's ready, probably in the next 24 hours. So if you've missed any section of today's session, again, not to worry because you can watch the recording. Now, we'll go into your questions, and I'll still remind you to use the Q&A button for your questions rather than the attendee chat, because we are not monitoring the attendee chat for responses. Now, Muhammad, you're asking how ACCA is adapting its syllabus to keep relevant, in a world with lots of changes around AI and automation, and what areas of accounting and finance will still require human judgment. So very big discussion there, but to answer your question directly, we review the syllabus for our exams every year. It's not always that there are changes. So we advise you to keep an eye on the syllabus of the exam that you're sitting. You'll find every review comes with a few changes where necessary. Some of those changes will include emerging topics like AI, automation, etc., sustainability. So that's how we adapt the syllabus towards those changes. On your next question on how, what areas of the accounting and finance will still require human judgment, obviously the role of the finance professional has changed. We've moved from the mundane tasks that used to be there in the past, and professional accountants are now taking more of a value addition role, more of advisory to the senior management, providing insights, acting with empathy. So AI may not be able to do all those things that require a human touch. So the goal really is to be able to work with AI and not to compete with AI. That's where the opportunities lie. Noor, you're asking about how to do a job when you're starting ACCA. Now, Krati mentioned that we have a jobs portal where employers share their job opportunities. The opportunities are there from entry-level opportunities to senior management. So as you proceed with your ACCA qualification, at every stage, there is, a level of job entry that you qualify for. So please keep checking. The portal also enables you to upload your CV so that the employers can see it from their side, and they can, reach out if you are a fit for any roles that have been shared there. Jasprit, you're saying you've recently joined and you've got some exemptions and you want to know the next steps and how to prepare for the remaining exams and PER. Fantastic question. So I'll respond to that from my own experience. I also joined ACCA and I received some exemptions. So what I did is I went to the Get Ready modules because there are, knowledge checks and module recaps. So the Get Ready modules help you to understand whether your underpinning knowledge is sufficient before you can proceed, to the next exam that you're doing after your exemptions. So in case you feel there are areas you're not comfortable, you've got access to the study hub, okay? You've got access to all, the subjects within the study hub, even the ones that you're not going to be sitting for exam. So you can go back, you can polish up on, let's say you received an exemption in FR and you want to sit SBR, you can always go back to the study hub, polish up on FR knowledge. That will help you to prepare for the next exam. Still tied to that, there's a question about whether the study hub is enough for preparation. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So the study hub is available. It's got content for all the ACCA exams. It's available at no cost. So, and it's sufficient. So then the content therein matches the syllabus guide that has been shared for each subject. So the only thing you will need to do is to use the other resources as well. So the study hub has the content, the practice platform has the past and practice exams. So once you're done with studying in the study hub, then you move to the practice platform and use those past questions for your own practice. So that's how you maximize that preparation. But yes, the study hub is sufficient. If you're studying with a learning partner, you can use it in addition. If you're doing self-study, then you can rely on the study hub. Marcel, you had a question about the recording, which I've already responded. Yes, you will be able to watch the recording of this session. Fatma, you're asking how to practice. Fantastic question again. So a few tips to share with practice. Number one, include practice in your study. Don't wait until the last 2 weeks of the exam to start practicing. And how do you do that? Once you're done with a topic that you're preparing for, in the study hub, there are some practice questions. Yeah, there are quizzes, and then there are practice questions for each section. So begin with the quizzes. Answer simple question, move to the practice question that's maybe 5 or 10 marks. And then by the time you're moving to the practice platform to tackle exam level questions, you're familiar with the style of questioning, you're familiar with the time pressure of the questions. Do the practice within time, because the exam is timed. You don't have all the time. So practice within those time conditions. And then towards the end, nearer to your exam, focus more on the practice rather than on studies. And if you identify any gaps in that practice, then only go back to refresh on the areas where you feel that you have gaps. So that's what I would say about practice. And we've got sessions that we've previously done. Kickstart, question practice masterclass. That's a whole 1-hour webinar talking about how to practice. And you'll find that on our website. Christine, you're asking about the PER. Yeah, so Krati mentioned briefly about the PER. That's a practical experience requirement. It's one of the 3 requirements for membership, okay? So for ACCA membership, you need to complete all the exams. You need to get, 36 months of relevant experience. That's what the PER is all about. And then you've got to do the EPSM module, the ethics and professional skills module. So there's a lot of information about the PER. We may not be able to cover everything in this particular session, but what I can say in terms of the key points is, number one, we advise you to start thinking about your experience as you are taking your exams. Yeah, so you can get volunteer opportunities. If you're already working, you can start recording that experience. You can familiarize yourself with the performance objectives that you will need to meet and align your work or your experience with that. So it's something you can begin thinking about even as you take your exams. So that by the time you're finishing your exams, you're already working through your PER. And just like the rest of the questions, we've also done sessions, webinars around PER. Just head over to our website. On the search button, search PER. You'll find lots of support resources there. Now, let me see some other questions. Sheila, you're asking, where do you get the study material? I've mentioned already, the Study Hub is your first stop, digital textbook with content for all exams. There's a question from Dara. Is there a specific order that exams need to be completed in? Now, there isn't any prescribed fixed specific order. You've got a bit of space to choose the order in which you want to complete the exams. However, we recommend that you take the order in which they are listed, in or on our website. You need to be cautious because some of the exams, are underpinned by other exams. So for instance, you will need knowledge of FR when you're studying SBR, which is at the strategic professional level. So it wouldn't make sense to attempt, a higher paper if you haven't finished the foundational papers. And that's why we advise that you can take the exams in the order in which they are listed, because then they build up on one another and you can comfortably progress in that journey. Another question still on the Study Hub, how to study from the Study Hub, how to check the format of the exam. So the format of the exam will be shown in the specimen exam on the practice platform, okay? How to study from the Study Hub, just log into your My ACCA portal, navigate to My Qualification section. You'll find a list of resources. Study Hub is one of them. Click on that link. Once you're in Study Hub, there's a drop down for the specific exams. Select the one that you're interested in, and it will open for you all the topics. Each topic has, chapters. It's got quizzes. It's got flashcards, and it's got practice questions towards the end. And it also has, one functionality that I like a lot. It allows you to track. You can mark complete for the sections you've covered. Confidence levels, low, high, medium. So on the home page, you can see your coverage for a specific exam. You can see the areas that you want to go back to. You can see the ones you're comfortable with. So that really helps you to have a view of how prepared you are. So trying to look through the questions we've not answered. There's a question about how to manage studies and jobs simultaneously. Yeah, one doesn't want to end up failing the exams and also not losing the job. Absolutely. Now, one of the critical, capabilities you will need is planning, and that's all it boils down to. You've got a job, maybe 8 to 5, and you're having to do your studies in the evening. That's what I've done personally for my own studies. So you need to be very good at planning. You need to understand your strengths. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? Are you a night person? So plan according to your strengths. So if you know you're not a morning person, it doesn't make sense to put in your timetable you're going to wake up very early to do your studies, while we know that you possibly will not, okay? So plan, get the support of the people around you at your workplace. Let your colleagues know that you've set aside the weekends and evenings for studies. So let your line manager know and request for their support. So let your family or the people close to you know that you're going to be engaged over this period of time, so they can also extend their support, and that's how you navigate and you're able to do both successfully. Pierre, you're asking about consistency. How do we stay consistent with our studies, having such a flexibility in terms of sitting exams? So that's a good question, because flexibility is two-way, yeah? Ideally, it should enable you to do more, but it can also make you, complacent. So remaining consistent, number one, have a long-term goal. How long do you want to take to complete ACCA? So if it's 2 years, break that plan down into year one, which exams are you going to take? Break that into the exam sessions if you're doing the session-based exams. It helps to have an accountability partner. Yeah, so get someone who knows and holds you accountable. If you're at work, maybe your manager or your colleagues. If it's someone close to you, a relative, it helps that they can keep you accountable and you can be checking in with them on your progress. Sometimes they can encourage you when you feel, not very, if you're not making progress, they can support. So yeah, from my experience, that's how you can maintain consistency. So checking through again, lots of questions coming in. Some on exemptions, we've already responded to those. There's a question still about the jobs. Will someone hire us right after knowledge level? Like I said, different job roles require different entry requirements. So knowledge level, yes, there are still some roles that you can take up, and they will be specified, in the job description of the specific role that you're applying for. Jessica, you're asking for the strategic professional exams, which exams would you recommend to do first? Now that's purely from a preference perspective, okay? But like I say, there's a rider to that order. So for example, in the options exams, if you want to do advanced audit and assurance will be based on the standards that you will have studied in SBR and FR. So if you're going to take AAA as an option, then it makes sense for you to do SBR first so that you can be familiar with those standards, and then move to AAA where you'll be, dealing with audits which are being done in accordance with these standards you've already studied. So that's the point I was trying to make, that you need to be aware of the interdependencies of the exams. SBL gives you a very good foundation in understanding how the strategic professional exams are assessed and how they are examined. So in case you're stuck, like I said, the default solution, do them in the order they are listed by ACCA. We proceed with questions. Can I get into investment banking in front rows after ACCA? Yes, investment banking is one of the career options in finance and accounting. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We proceed with a few minutes we have left. So for those asking questions that are pretty personalized about the exemptions you applied for and the ones you probably have received or any clarifications, we will not be able to respond to those, in these sessions, but we have a form that you can use to contact us, or you can write to students@accaglobal.com with your particular details, and you'll get assistance on your own, on your particular case for those specific queries. There's a question whether it's a good idea to study 3 subjects at a time in the skills level. So it's a balance between being able to effectively cover the syllabus and effectively prepare for the exam versus actually doing those 3 exams and passing. So the question you want to ask yourself is, are you better off doing 3 exams simultaneously and probably failing one, or doing 2 and passing both and moving on to the next 2? Yeah. So there are lots of factors to consider. Your time commitments, are you studying full-time or are you partly doing something else? Your mode of study, are you doing self-study or are you studying with a learning partner, in which case they would have their own timetables for those exams? And how you find the exams, are you comfortable with the content or do you feel like you need more time? So those are the factors to consider when you're thinking about how many exams you want to do simultaneously. Wesley, you're asking how early you can start internships. As early as you possibly can find an opportunity. Yeah. So you want to start getting experience as you continue with your exams as early as possible. So like I mentioned, that will help you with your PER. It's going to ensure that by the time you're finishing your exams, you've already covered part of the experience or met all the experience requirements, and it will be easy for you to transition into membership and start enjoying the full benefits of ACCA membership. Salman, you're asking whether there are any explained videos of the paper subjects. So what I can mention on this is that we have a resource called Topic Explainers on our YouTube channel, ACCA Student Support Resources. So they are not full videos for all the content, but they are videos that cover, the topics that students find challenging, and they give you a good grounding to understand the concepts that when you go to the study hub or to your learning partner, then you're able to understand those concepts better. So that's the work of topic explainer videos, which you can find on our YouTube channel. Still scrolling through your questions. A lot of these questions we've already responded to. So Jamie, you're asking how regular are exam sittings? How long before an exam should you start to study the content? And can you sit more than one exam in an exam sitting? Fantastic question. So your question number 1, how regular are exam sittings? Now we've mentioned that we've got some ACCA exams which are on demand. So the first 4 exams are on-demand exams, which means they are available throughout. They are not set in any specific dates. As soon as you're ready to sit the exam, you can walk to an exam center, make a booking, and sit that exam, okay? So that applies to the applied knowledge level and corporate law in applied skills. Now, the rest of the exams in applied skills and strategic professional are session-based exams. So we've got 4 exam sessions every year. We've got exams in March, exams in June, exams in September, and exams in December. And the booking dates are, again, defined on the website well in advance, so you can plan. Can you sit more than one exam in one round of, in one exam session? Yes. The only limit we have is that you can only sit a maximum of 8 exams within one calendar year. Now, how long before the exam should you start to study the content? It will depend on a number of factors. If you're studying the learning partner, they will have defined how the semester looks like or how the study period looks like. If you're doing self-study, you'll need to determine how much time you can apportion to ACCA preparation, if you're doing it full-time or part-time. Ideally, we advise that you leave the last 4 weeks for question practice, And then you can maybe, depending on how much time you have, you can do 2 or 3 months of studies, and then the 1 month of practice, and you could be ready for your exam. But like I said, that varies greatly from person to person, depending on your own unique circumstances. So different students will take different periods of time to prepare effectively for the exams. Alina, you're asking for a bit more elaboration on the ethics module. Okay, so the EPSM is a module that exposes you to the ethical scenarios in the workplace. Okay, so for you to be an all-rounded finance professional that is ready for the workplace, you need more than just the technical knowledge that you get through the exams. You need to be grounded in ethics. You need to be grounded in professionalism. You need to be grounded in all those things that make you a person of integrity, makes you a competent person, someone that can be trusted, someone that can act professionally in all your duties. So that's the work of the ethics and professional skills module. So it's not a one-off exam. You know, you'll not have 3 hours to do the ethics module. It's a module you engage with over time. So you can log in today, begin the module, do a section of it, you know, take a break, come back tomorrow, come back next week, finish it over time. So we advise that you take the ethics module once you're done with the applied skills and before you get into the strategic professional. So in that transition, that's when it's best advised to do the EPSM or the ethics module. Reason being, your transition is going to be very smooth, yeah, in between the applied skills and the strategic professional. A lot of content you will cover in the ethics module will again apply in the strategic professional exams. So that's when we advise you to do the ethics module. Let me see. More questions. Kaushik, you're asking a question about AI and how it's affecting the accounting profession and how ACCA students should prepare. Now, I will point you to a section of the ACCA website called the Policy and Insights. One of the things we do at ACCA is research, okay? We've got a global network of ACCA members and ACCA students, and from time to time, we engage with them and produce pieces of research around different topics, and AI is one of them. You know, talent trends is another. So we've got lots of information from the research that we've done over the years. So I would advise that you head over to that section, just search for Policy and Insights. You'll find a section of the website that has all those reports from the research that we've done. And some of them are around AI and the impact on the professionals and what accountants are saying and how they are responding to that. And what employers are saying in terms of what they need from ACCA students who are seeking to be qualified accountants. How should they prepare in light of AI? Jessica, you're asking about the options exams. I think the question is more on my experience, so I'll respond to it generally. So the 4 option exams, you're required to choose 2 out of those 4. So there is advanced performance management, advanced audit and assurance, advanced taxation, and advanced financial management. So you need 2 out of those 4. Your choice is dependent on, you know, your circumstances and your factors. If you wish to pursue a career in audit and assurance, then you take the AAA option. If you want to get into performance management or financial management, then you select them accordingly. You could also choose them depending on your strengths. You know, having looked at your previous exams, because they all have an opinion exams. If you are strong in performance management and you wish to, scale that up and do advanced performance management, then that's also some way to do it. Great. So I think we have, I'll take one last question, which I think is important to mention. Jean, you're asking, what is a good pass mark to aim for? So the pass mark for ACCA exams is 50%, okay? So you need to score 50% or more for you to pass. Now, as far as the pass mark you want to aim for, I will leave that for you to decide what you want your target to be. But whatever it is, just be sure that you need to have scored 50 and above to secure a pass. If you don't, then you'll need to resit that exam a second time. Great. So I think we have addressed the bulk of the questions. We've been responding to others directly. So at this point, I just want to refresh your knowledge or your information as we bring this to a close on the next steps that Krati shared towards the end of her presentation. So we've talked about the ACCA qualification, we've talked about the resources, we've talked about the support platforms that are available to you. And we wanted to end this session with giving you the next steps that you need to take. So the first next step is to book your exam. Have something that you're working towards. Have a commitment, okay? That will help you with the step number 2, which is to plan your study. Once you've got the exam booked, then you've got a plan how you're going to prepare towards that date. And then number 3, in preparing for that exam, then explore the resources that we have shared with you. So at this point, I think we can bring the session to a close. Once again, welcome to ACCA, the most forward-thinking accountancy body. You're on course, for preparing to be the finance professional that the current and the future profession needs, with all the technical skills and ethical competencies that are required. Krati, did you have any closing remarks before we wrap it up?
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for answering all those questions. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And I wish you all the best for your exams and your preparation. Keep practicing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And thanks to everyone in the back end as well for supporting us. Thanks, everyone, for your engagement. Thanks for your questions. And all the best in your ACCA journey. Goodbye for now.